What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT, coming to you from Fort Myers, Florida. We have to talk about this Capes situation that I thought was going to be a one and done video. You know, one of those, a developer was caught working with Sweet Baby Inc. and trying to hide their involvement with them, and it would come and go, and the developer would go under, and we'd move on talking about the next company that would fall for Sweet Baby Inc.'s tactics. But no, it seems like Spitfire Interactive, the developer behind Capes, is trying to push forward with more victimhood. At least if we are to believe the publisher, Daedalic Entertainment, which, if you might recall that name, the same publisher behind the infamous Golem game. Somebody at Daedalic made a comment on the Steam forums talking about the situation and why it's really not their fault that they partnered with Sweet Baby Inc. And it's just this big misunderstanding that we all just got wrong. And the reason why you feel the ways you do and why you're feeling the wrong way about it is because of mean YouTubers like me informing you guys about what the hell's going on out there. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full exhaustive article talking about this statement from a dude named Penta, who works at Daedalic Entertainment. And he's not a developer, even though he's listed as a developer. And he goes into this statement talking about how he's a community strategist over at the publisher Daedalic Entertainment. Steam just shows anyone with administrative access as a developer. But why is this guy coming forward with a conclusive statement about SBI? Well, first off, looking at his title, Community Strategist, this is a guy that is literally paid to try to get the community to understand what's going on so that they give money to them to purchase the games from them. So it is in his best interest to try to manipulate you into thinking what you've been told is the wrong thing. So go into this knowing that. He said, first off, I'm not a developer at Spitfire Interactive, but a community strategist over at the publisher. Why are 12 people listed when they didn't do more work on the game than connecting with voice actors? And this is where I'm gonna jump in with how he responds and why I strongly disagree with it. Let me go with what he said first. It is an industry norm that if you contract a company, you credit the whole company, or at least that they tell you who they want listed in your credits. If we really wanted to hide something, we wouldn't have put SBI into the credits at all, nor would we have already been talking in the Steam forums about it during the last 3 months after release. Strongly disagree with this coming from someone, you guys might not know this, but I used to work in the game industry at Sony Online Entertainment as a game tester, QA tester, as a game master on EverQuest, and any games that I was ever listed in, to my knowledge at least, because I don't want someone trying to find something and be like, oh, you were wrong about this. To my knowledge, every time my name was listed in the credits, it's because it's a game that I directly worked on and impacted personally, whether it was hours during the day or after hours overtime because it was crunch time and they needed extra people working on it. It wasn't just simply because I was on the QA team that my name would show up in the credits. So no, that's not an industry norm. It might be a norm for your company, but I no way, no how would agree with saying this is a complete industry norm where you contract with a company and then you list every single person who works at that company in your credits. That's typically, in my experience, not how it works. And also, the biggest problem with that is if you start crediting people that didn't work on something, they can list that on their resume to say, hey, I was a part of this game, this thing, this push to this thing. And if it was super successful, then that person will just name, for example, Chris Kindred, may not be qualified to work on something. But because whatever project they did work on was successful for some random reason, they can put that as a feather in their cap saying, I worked at this company and my name's on the credits for that. So ergo, I was a part of that game, which is why you should hire me at your company for this, even though they may not have even touched whatever was potentially successful on that. So that is a very dangerous, slippery slope to go down that I don't mean to completely sidebar this entire video with, but no, I strongly disagree with that whole, oh, we credit everyone if we contract with the company. That's not how it works. But anyways, they continue. Why did you still work together with them after all they said? And Penta said, the devs collaborated with SBI in early 2022. We are aware of the statements being done by individuals connected to SBI in the years to come, but in 2022, there was no sign of that. it is likely the decision would have been different one in 2024. And if that is not backtracking, I don't know what is. Like, straight up being like, oh, now that we're receiving backlash, now that the community realizes how awful this organization is that we contracted with, now in hindsight, we see why it was a stupid idea to work with Sweet Baby Inc., which is kind of funny because this right here is completely crapping all over Sweet Baby Inc., being like, yeah, if we knew how bad this company was, we would have never contracted with them in the first place, which ironically does not spell good things for the future for this company, but also goes to show that this developer is trying to say anything at this point to save face. And then they go with a clip of a question of, you have to learn that. And Penta responded, as a company bringing games to an international audience, we take the term inclusivity and equality literal. We don't condone hate towards any type of group. This includes among people of color, LGBTQ+, and others. White male gamers as well. What? Why is that a thing that you call out individually? That's very strange. It is sad that we have to actually word it out. It should be a given. We are all gamers, no matter who we are. If a diverse cast of heroes makes you not want to play capes, that's your decision. But we are surely not the enemy. At least we don't see you as one making this decision. But in the previous comment, you said if we realized that Sweet Baby Inc. was going to be detrimental to our brand, we would not have contracted with them. So which one is it? Because it feels like, I know, you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth right now, where you're like, yeah, we get Sweet Baby Inc.'s a bad company, and we don't want to be associated with them because of all the bad press and everything they do. And the very next statement, you're like, but we're all about inclusivity, and if you're not, you're a bigot, but we don't want to call you that because we want your money. And shout out to Minimal Effort Podcast, who sent a tweet tagging me saying, more screenshots of Steam users who were banned for questioning the response from Daedalic Community Strategist over Cape's involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. And there are multiple screenshots here of more people that are coming forward saying all they did was simply question this corporation, saying, hey, I don't feel like I agree with you because of X, Y, and Z. And instead of meeting that with a measured response, they get banned from the Steam forums outright. So it's really hard to take this Penta community strategist at his word if they're not going to meet any critical feedback with responses, and if they're just straight up banning people from the forum for daring to question their involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. Like, honestly, this whole thing is just getting worse and worse as it goes. The more that Daedalic Entertainment and Spitfire Interactive talk about it, the more they're digging their own grave with not just capes, but any future game involvement that they have. And just to give you guys an example of one of the people that was banned, here's what they said. Tell me if you think this is really bad. We're only seeing this now because it's damage control. They would have never distanced themselves from SBI if it hadn't blown up in their faces. How many other games has the publisher having SBI influenced with? Upcoming games too, I imagine? The whole blow up on the forums also speaks volumes. Say anything they don't agree with you, and it's an immediate warn or ban. Ironically, this person was immediately banned. I first heard about this from Kyle on Twitter, who said, Cape's developer would not work with SBI again, but Sweet Baby Inc. is just one consulting company, and since game developers refuse to listen and must exclude, maybe they'll listen to profits or lack thereof. And I responded and quote tweeted it saying, Community Strategist at Spitfire running damage control for Capes. The game that tried to hide the fact they worked with Sweet Baby Inc. is now blaming YouTubers for calling them out on their garbage pandering. Playing the victim doesn't work anymore. The whole situation looks absolutely atrocious for not just Spitfire Interactive, but the entire company of Daedalic Entertainment that's going together in on this and trying to backtrack and distance themselves from any involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. And like I said, I don't feel like this is the end of it by any stretch. It feels like they are trying to lay the groundwork so that they're able to get customers in the future, potentially with involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. or another consultancy firm. I mean, it feels like hundreds of them at this point. They just keep popping up overnight pop-up shops where they're just like, yep, we will consult for your game, give us your money, and we will make sure that the Nose Ring Mafia doesn't cancel you because you partnered with somebody to make sure the game isn't too offensive. which ironically is exactly what's dooming your games in the first place. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Again, if you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com. I will link this article in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. And as always, you stay smashing.
Smash.